an inspiring businessman, a great leader, and a risk taker. Please applaud Mihal Kambarev.
Thanks, guys. How are we doing? Okay? No? Okay, thanks so much for being here. And when I was invited to come here, I was super excited. I was like, yay, I made it to the AUBG. And then I realized that the conference is taking place on Saturday morning. I was like, shit. Back then when I was in the university, the Saturdays were the time to recover from Fridays. But then I realized that the people that are going to be in the audience are like going to be the right people that wake up and are open to new ideas. So I highly appreciate the time that you take to come here, and I'll try to make the most of our time. Feel free to interrupt me anytime and say, okay, you know, this what is being said is bullshit, I don't believe you, I have a question. Feel free to do that. Today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and why is it important. How many of you want to be an entrepreneur? I want to be one. Yeah? Why do you want to do that? There's so many, I don't know, obstacles. And you most likely fail. But it's important, and you have to do it. Because this is the single way to create value. There is no other way to materialize an idea that you have in your head in something that brings value. That's the only way. I'm not mentioning here the job creation and the economy boost that you'll have in your region or your country or your continent. So it's super important, and we have to do it. And I've been taught that when I'm on stage, I should say why I'm on stage and why the people should listen to me. Well, you don't have to, but why what I'm saying makes sense. Well, my name is Mihal, and for the last 4 years, I'm working with the most active investors in Europe. I'm working with guys from Philips, Samsung, Sony, who else, I don't know, Merck, Medtronic, J&J, and I had the privilege to see what these guys are looking for in the entrepreneurs to invest or to buy. And on the other hand, I had the great pleasure to work with some of the greatest companies in Europe. They've been there and they've been pitching on events, trying to raise capital because they want to grow. And we need to grow. Those of you who want to be entrepreneurs, we will need to save the world. And this is not a bullshit. We're in trouble. And I'm going to bombard you for the next 4 or 5 minutes with a lot of data, but this is the truth. It's a bit sad, but we need to fix it. This is a slide that was presented on May, I think, 2018 in Porto. There was an investment gathering, and that's kind of a confidential slide from one of the investors that we work with. And he said, guys, we have a problem in Europe. It's a pretty busy slide, don't pay attention. The most important is these numbers. In US and Asia, the companies are able to raise a second round of funding. Well, 80% of them raise second round. And in Europe, only 54% of that are doing it. And that's kind of a trouble, okay, it's not such a big deal. But bear with me only for 3 more slides. The world economy in 2017. You can see that the single biggest European economy, Germany, is having the impressive 3.68% of the world economy. And you see the US and China, well, they're doing pretty good. If we compare that with 2 years ago, you can see that the German economy is declining, the China one is booming, and the US are doing pretty good. Well, Europe is kind of in trouble. But why is that so? These are the biggest companies in the world. You will see that the blue companies are US companies. The red ones are coming from China. And China have made it so far so good. I took this slide 5 years ago, 5 years behind, and I scratched the companies that were not existing back then. And you can see that there are only 2 Chinese companies which were in the top 10 5 years ago. That's only 5 years. And for 5 years they managed to create 9 companies in the top 20. The top European company is on 94th place. And the issue here is that, you know, these companies are making a lot of money. And the cash flow is going out of Europe to China and to US. And this is not a sustainable process. Probably at some point we'll bankrupt. So we need to create huge companies, guys. We will fail a lot, but we need to create huge companies in order to stay competitive to EU, to US and China. So, how to raise a unicorn? Unicorn is a company with a valuation of 1 billion. I have no idea how to raise a unicorn. But I know how the market is functioning, and this is what I'm going to share. In order to raise a unicorn, you need to understand how the investors are working and thinking. And go back. The model where you're buying 1 apple, you're going to sell that apple, and then you go back and buy 2 apples, and then you go sell those 2 apples for 3 apples. This is not working anymore. It's old school, forget about it. Because while you're selling your apples, I'll be there pitching to an investor, I'll get the money, and I'll buy a full truck full of apples, and I'll come to your town, and you'll be dead. So, you need to know how the venture capital works. The investors imagine that they're like you, they're entrepreneurs looking for the capital. The investors are not operating with their own money. They're just managing the money. So they usually go to the doors of huge corporates or wealthy families, and they're like knocking on the door and say, hey, I'm creating that fund. Would you like to give me 10 million so I can manage them, and I'll bring you back 12 in 5 years? And most likely they will hear, no, get out of here. But some of them will say, okay, here are my 10 millions. And when they have 100 million fund or 200 or whatever they like, they'll start investing. And the venture capital fund is usually alive for 5 years. After 5 years, they will start this process again. They will go again to some doors, get some more capital, and create a new fund. And in that period, if you're going to raise money, you have to know in which stage the investor is here, because you need to go in the first 2 years. This is the time when the investors are looking for new companies to invest. The second period here, they're not going to invest in new companies. They're going to support only the star companies in their portfolio, because they need to make money. They need to push these companies to raise and to grow. And the goal of this is to help the company to be sold to someone. This is how they make money. The company is usually sold to either corporation or the company is going public. And this is the time when the investor is getting his shares, the money out of the company, and he's going back to the door, knocking the door of the corporate and say, 5 years ago you gave me this money, I told you that I'll bring you 12 millions. Here it back. These are your 12 millions. But now I'm raising a new fund. You want to give me 15? And the cycle is going over and over again. And here's some money going here and there to the LPs, and the investors are taking some money. I mean, there are people working hard, they need to have some money. And there will be several stages of the development of your company that you will go through. The first one is called so-called idea stage or startup. You'll have some idea. Those investors will not believe you, they will not give you money, they don't like risk. The people who will give you money here are your family, friends, and fools. But that's enough. You need to just make your idea work. Then you have several stages where you'll go to real investors, the one who will challenge you, who will make you defend your idea, who will make you show that it is really working, and you'll have to do that. And you'll do that over and over and over and over again until you get a company with 1 billion valuation. It's gonna be hard. And what I show you here, it is actually happening. Do you know the company Limplom? It's a Bulgarian company. Do you know it? Yeah? It's a pretty awesome company. And this is what I showed you here. This is the information from one of the deal sources. So they've been doing some seed round and early stage, and the last funding that they got was 54 million. 45, sorry. Do you know Spotify? Yes. Yeah. Well, this is what they've been doing. They started with 15 million, and this is quite a big early stage, but they already did their exit, and their investors are happy because they got the money back, and they got a lot of money. They did an IPO for 7 billions. Do you want to see a real presentation of such a company that is looking for 5 millions? It's not such a big amount, but it's something. And this company is going to pitch this Tuesday in Helsinki. So this presentation was prepared for Helsinki, for this company to raise 5 millions. We'll just go really briefly to it, to see how it looks like. This is a company operating in the healthcare field. They're doing AI neurology. So it's called Combinostics, and what they usually do in the beginning, they're telling some bullshit story just to get the audience, and then they'll start, what is the business model? These are essential things to have in presentation of a company. What is the business model? Then what is the market size? To show, hey, the market is growing, and I'm in the right place at the right time, so you need to invest in me. A competitor landscape. Of course, we need to show that we are doing better than our competitors. That's not always true, but this is what we say. We need to have go-to-market strategy, and we need to show off. Hey, we've been working with Siemens. Some financials, of course, to show that you've done your math, even that this is imaginary. No one knows what's happening in 2022. And in the end, you're saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm looking for 5 millions. And this is what I'm going to use those 5 millions. And that's going to be presented, and this is the team, of course, to show that you're credible. Well, these guys here in the medical field, that's why they're PhDs, they're not like youngsters like you and me. And that's it. And then try to raise that money. And probably they will do, because the company is great. But meanwhile in China, last year, again a medical company called WeDoctor raised 500 million. With a valuation of 5.5 billion. Amazing, right? And what these guys are doing, you have a platform. If you go in that platform, you can be examined. You can check how is your medical status. Last year they got an approval that they can prescribe drugs online. And now they're testing delivery of drugs. So when you get sick, you'll only sit in front of your computer, you'll be examined, prescribed, and your drugs will be at your doorstep. And that's not the final step, because they already are dominating the online field. They're going offline. They're now building in China, like the telephone booths. If you don't have internet and you're a poor guy, you can enter that, booth and be examined there. So guys, we need to be bold, and we need to we need to build those big companies, because we need to be competitive. Some things to know before I go. You'll need a lot of capital, and you'll need to learn how to sell. Because the presentation that you saw, most of this is kind of fake, kind of working, But you need to show the investor that, you know, I'm a credible guy, I have passion, and I'm going to do it. So you need to learn how to sell. Profit is not important. This is old school as well. Nobody gives a shit about profit. It's important to grow. When you get the money from the investor, you need to spend them as fast as possible to grow. Because on the other side of the world, there is a company doing that. And if you don't do it, they will eat you. You'll most likely be replaced if you're the CEO. In the beginning, you need to have a certain skill set to build the company and to bring it to life. But when your company is already 1,000 people, you need a different skill set. You need to manage these people. And if you don't have that skill set, the investors that put their money there are going to say, you know, you're not doing great. We have a new guy. Have a good day. And that's okay. You will most likely fail. Well, I will most likely fail. I'm trying to do that again. I already failed 3 times, so I'm doing that for the 4th. So we'll most likely fail. But if we manage to succeed and to really build a huge company, it may actually change the world. And that's a nice place, to make the world a better place for other people. So, one of the investors that I'm working with told me once, you know, when you're speaking with people, you need to communicate only one thing. How you can help these people. This is the only thing that matters. And guys, I've been privileged enough to be here, and how can I be of help is with the 2 hats that I'm wearing. One is in this company that one Belgian guy founded 20 years ago and was bold enough to come to Sofia and to open an office here, which is not the biggest. This is the most active, investment entrepreneurial community in Europe. If you're going to US, we're not the guys. If you're going to China, we're not the guys. But if you need EU, too many letters, EU investor, we're the guys, and I'll be really happy to put you in touch with investors or entrepreneurs or whatever you like. And the other hat that I'm wearing is between Blagoevgrad and Europe. If you decide to go to Sofia and rent or buy a place, that's a new platform. Hopefully it will succeed, but we'll make it work. That will make this thing for you automatically and avoiding all the bad steps while you're renting or buying a place. So thank you so much, guys, for your attention. And now we need to raise our unicorns.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much.
Kambarev.
Thank you as well. May I interrupt you just for a second?
Of course.
I have 1 more minute, and I've been told that I need to use my time
Yes.
until the last
Absolutely.
second.
Go
Guys,
ahead.
if you do have any questions, our speaker is here.
I want to challenge the audience. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Who was here that said that want to be an entrepreneur? We have 1 more minute. Who wants to pitch their idea on stage for 1 minute? Okay. You're already coming. Are you pitching?
No, I just want to say that me and my friend,
Yeah.
we have a lot of bottles and we want to recycle and we can make a lot of cups for you. So me and Emilio are starting cups. We just have to make quite a lot of them. And yeah, that's the idea. So if you want a cup, an interesting one, if you want to support Earth by recycling, me and Emilio are the guys. So yeah.
Guys, usually they say that the bold ambition is rewarded. So thanks so much for being so bold. I hope that the ambition stays with you. I want to invite you. We have another event in Sofia.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll be bringing investors from all Europe, and you're not going to see that in Facebook. It's already sold. We made our money. We don't need to sell tickets. We don't sell tickets. It's going to be the investors, the companies, the organizing team, and you if you want to join. So thanks for being here.